Clair Obscur Expedition 33 now holds the world record for the highest user score in Metacritic history. And that's no small feat. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 also boasts a 100% player rating on OpenCritic. And right now, there's no other games that even come close. One of the closest is the beloved Witcher 3. Expedition 33 boasting a 92 Metacritic score and a 9.7 user score. The only game that comes close is The Witcher 3's Blood and Wine DLC, coming in at a 9.3 user score. And every other fan favorite historic game that you've ever heard of is somewhere between an 8.9 user score and a 9.2. As of making this video, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 has sold over 2 million copies in 12 days. It sold 1 million copies in its first 3 days after launch. It also sold out of physical copies on Amazon. But you guys want to know what's the funny part? Is normally when games get this much praise initially on their launch, the scores usually go down. For Clair Obscur Expedition 33, as more and more players get their hands on the game and word of mouth continues to spread, the game only receives more and more praise, increasing their scores, continuing to break records. I would like to quote Legendary Drops. He says the game is breathtaking, a game that commands respect. He says Expedition 33 deserves every bit of praise that it's receiving. One of the quotes that I find most important, Legendary Drops says, "One of the best examples of what today's developers are capable of, what games are capable of, and how far they can reach. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 shows the value that games can deliver. And this game alone proves how shallow the rest of the gaming industry actually is." In the final quote from Legendary Drops, he says games like Expedition 33 are what gamers deserve but are just rarely given. You guys want to know what's most ironic? Sandfall, the developers of Expedition 33, are former developers of AAA gaming developer Ubisoft. Expedition 33 is Sandfall's very first game, and I already know Ubisoft is out there smacking themselves in the back of the head for letting these developers go. Let's reference a few snippets from an article written by Paul Tassi with Forbes, titled "Clair Obscur Expedition 33 has sold 2 million copies in 12 days, yet it deserves so much more." He goes on to say Clair Obscur Expedition 33 has already made history as the highest user score game on Metacritic by a significant margin, a 9.7 out of 10, with nothing else even above a 9.3. But as of right now, it's starting to get sales that reflect the quality of the game. Sandfall, the developers of the game, has announced that 12 days after launch, Expedition 33 has sold 2 million copies, a wild success for a brand new IP made by a brand new tiny developer. And to give you guys some context, EA reported 1.5 million players engaged with Dragon Age the Veilguard in its first fiscal quarter, and that was half of what they actually wanted. That also included players using their EA Play subscriptions. Comparing that to Expedition 33 is just blown out of the water. But of course, Dragon Age the Veilguard is hard to compare to any game, is much worse than Expedition 33. Expedition 33 currently being called one of the best RPGs possibly ever, and is currently being mentioned with the decades-long Final Fantasy series, and again, this is the first offering by Sandfall, a brand new studio, a brand new developer. Hitting these type of numbers, generating this type of success is just totally insane. When word of mouth spreads this quickly, this is exactly how you speed toward 2 million sales in under 2 weeks. Considering that GTA 6 has been pushed back to May 26, there is a greater chance that Expedition 33 could win Game of the Year. Runner-ups for Game of the Year, Split Fiction has an 8.9 on Metacritic and Blueprints has a 7.7. It's seeming like Expedition 33 is going to be one of those generational games. But we'll continue to monitor this stuff to see if it retains long-term sales. Considering its tremendous early success and praise, everything else that it receives from this point on is pretty much icing on the cake. But as it stands right now, Expedition 33 is clearly the birth of a very important RPG franchise. And if any of you guys watching want to get in on the ground floor, I highly recommend picking up this game. Now let's talk about the basic premise of the game. A celestial paintress painting a descending number, killing all those over the age of 33. The expedition is getting to this celestial paintress to kill her off before the number descends to 0. That's the general premise of Clair Obscur, but one thing to note, it has turn-based combat. I have personally never been a fan of turn-based combat until I played Expedition 33, an epic work of art that fixed turn-based issues. And this game has allowed us to experience what may in fact be one of the best RPG storylines in the genre's history, quite possibly even in video game history, considering how beautiful, sad, and moving the game is. But that's just one aspect in addition to the acting, the atmosphere, the music, and yes, the combat. The fact is, while playing Expedition 33, it's hard to practically find any faults here. This game could not be more obviously a 10 out of 10 and is currently the front runner for Game of the Year. Elaborating on Clair Obscur's Expedition 33's premise, it tells a story of Gustave, a man living in a badly broken version of Paris that has been devastated by a calamity that continues unfolding every single year. The citizens of this devastated Paris only live to their 30s before being erased by a mysterious giant figure in the horizon. She's called the Paintress. She puts up this huge number on a pillar as a countdown from 100. And we're currently at 33. That's what will be considered the expedition number, hence Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Citizens are routinely sent out to kill the Paintress and stop this cycle. They've already failed 67 times. Your place in the game, going on Expedition 33, is your personal attempt to kill the Paintress. And this time it'll work, right? Well, that's what you guys are gonna find out. But things quickly go sideways and you're left with the core party of Gustave, his de facto daughter Maëlle, an element wielder Loon, and a couple other characters that you'll pick up along the way, as is the RPG tradition. Expedition 33 boasts an all-star cast. Charlie Cox, Daredevil himself, stands out in his first video game role, but the voice cast goes on to include legends like Andy Serkis and Ben Starr. The entire cast is excellent, and between the voice work and the motion capture, convey emotion in a way we don't often see in this genre. And we all know RPG storylines are often a bit maybe over the top for most people's taste, depending on the game. And while this wild world in Expedition 33 does require some brain-breaking processes, it's still a coherent tale and features some of the biggest, most stunning twists that anybody has ever seen in gaming. Genuinely, twists that nobody will expect. And the storyline plot twists are so good that the entire player base has been kind enough not to spoil it. The best thing that we could offer you guys is to say you're not gonna believe what happens in Act 2 and just wait till you see Act 3. You'll definitely have a better understanding of why there's so much praise for Expedition 33 when you get there. The environment design in Expedition 33 is completely out of this world. It's one of the most captivating aspects of the game. And it's one of those games that just when you thought you've seen it all, you've seen the coolest areas, there's another one right around the corner. And also, as I'm getting older, I've realized how important the score is to each player's level of immersion. Expedition 33 is bolstered by an incredible score that is immediately something you'll want to add to your Spotify if it doesn't give you PTSD from the emotional moments of the game or the most exhausting boss fights. And now that brings us to combat. Again, remember, a JRPG with a turn-based system. But there's a mix here, a mix of turn-based strategy and real-time reactions, namely dodging and parrying when necessary. Now, it's not the first game to do this, but it's quite certainly the best. But perhaps even better is the Picto Bill system to create some truly interesting and fun characters. Whether you're choosing damage per second, tanks, or support, the fact is you just have a lot of flexibility to go out there and experiment. But it seems like the game does have some minor annoyances, like navigation, especially in the open worlds, when you want to get back to certain zones. But the game is so stunning, you'll enjoy just flying and swimming around in your personal Baymax. It's just really easy to get lost in the environment, instead of just zipping and fast traveling your way to the place you've already been. It's just a stunning game that only gets more stunning the further you get into it. And if you guys are anything like me, you have been allergic to turn-based combat. It may take a little getting used to, but if you push past that and learn the systems, you're probably going to experience one of the best games you'll play in years. Now, that's all the information we currently have for Clair Obscur's Expedition 33. I'm personally super excited to continue playing this game. I'll keep you guys posted on my experience throughout. You guys let me know if you're going to give it a shot. If you're already playing the game, sound off in the comment section below. If any of you guys are new here, drop a like and a sub, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Easy, y'all.